Hi, everybody. Welcome to the nationwide prayer campaign to end abortion forever. Today, many people celebrate this, but it's not officially known. It was originated in Brazil, and I believe that the bishop there had approved it, but I'm not sure. But today, a lot of people celebrate the chaste heart of St. Joseph feast day. And we just want to give him honor. And of course, Father Donald Calloway has brought him into circulation with the new book that he has that is the consecration to Saint Joseph. Beautiful prayer, and it draws so many people closer to the role of Saint Joseph, and they feel like they have a love for him. Also, today is the feast day of Saint John the Baptist birthday, and remember, our ministry is John Leaps. It's named after John, and it's a very, very pro-life title of, reference to John, where he leapt while he was an infant. He was a baby. He was a fetus in the womb. So let's give him honor too. We look to him, and we look to these two wonderful men in the history of our church that cooperated so fully well for the salvation of mankind. Thank you so much, and let's start praying. That takes us to the kingdom of heaven. We trust in you. Amen. Hello. Hi, I'm sorry. Um, Today we have Zach King, and every Wednesday we have him. He has a very special mission given by the Blessed Mother herself. In her visitation to him, she said to him, help me to stop abortion. And so, like, we have these clips, and today I had edited the clip that he sent just very recently, but unfortunately, my computer was flooded with a cup of coffee. So I hope it's okay. But, I have the raw clips here, and God bless you all. And you know, I didn't flip out, thank God, because I asked the Lord for the grace this morning as soon as I woke up for a thankful heart. So I've been thanking Him all day, and I think that's what kept me protected. God bless you all.
So just realizing that I can stop myself from doing abortions, but how do I stop the rest of the world? I have no idea. Asking Jesus that in the Adoration Chapel, he brought his mother into the room and she said, use what you know. So just realizing that I can stop myself from doing abortions, but how do I stop the rest of the world? I have no idea. Asking Jesus that in the Adoration Chapel, he brought his mother into the room and she said, use what you know. And, you know, so, so just realizing that I can stop myself from doing abortions, but how do I stop the rest of the world? I have no idea. I did my first assist. So just realizing that I can stop myself from doing abortions, but how do I stop the rest of the world? I have no idea. I did my first assisted abortion when I was 14 years old. It was 3 months approximately before turning 15. My only cautionable thing was that I was hoping that what I was doing was legal. And then after doing it, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that I could murder as much as I wanted to, and as long as it was done in an abortion, it was legal. Everything we did, we had a team of attorneys that told us what exactly we could get away with and to keep everything above board and legal. So on paper, I may not have even been there. In a legal standpoint, I quite possibly didn't participate, but I did participate. And I did that one, and then I did 4 or 5 more. And then when I became the High Wizard, I did approximately 140 more, and I had 3 failed. And I wasn't even, you know, the abortions in my covens were to do a hex. The hex is the strongest spell you have. And that's when you cannot pass whatever it is you're trying to do. You've tried every legal method and nothing works. So now you do a hex, and in a hex, you need an abortion. But that was just in 2 covens that I was in. There's lots of other covens that don't use hexes. I mean, they use hexes, but they don't do abortions. So, but I never thought, the first time I did one, I understood that to me it was a baby. But it was explained to me, I went to a private school. It was Christian, but it was Protestant, and it was Baptist. And they taught us that a baby is not officially a baby until it comes out of the womb and takes its first breath. And when we did a late term abortion, you deliver the entire body but not the head. So the is not outside, it's not taking a breath, and therefore it doesn't really count as a baby. I know, I'm an idiot. I believe that. So, when I was doing my other, I totally did 146, you start to realize that, oh my gosh, that's a baby. But you're caught up. I'm doing my job. And this is what I do. There's other high wizards, and other high wizards do the same thing. Most do a lot more than I did. I'm not excusing what I did. I did a large number, 146. I mean, aborting one baby is a lot. So, it's a mortal sin no matter how many you do or how few you do, unless you're doing none. So, but I never thought that that would eventually come back and bite me. I just thought, this is what I do. This is my job. I'm a soldier in a war, and I'm being ordered to do something. And if you don't do it, your own people shoot you in the back. So I did what I was told, and not always being told to do it. And I'm a high wizard. That's what I do. That's part of my job. And I did all that willingly. Then the Blessed Mother and Jesus converted me to being Catholic. And the Blessed Mother asked me to help her stop abortion. I seemed on board, but, I stopped doing abortions when I was 33. I haven't done one since then. That's 20 years ago. So just realizing that I can stop myself from doing abortions, but how do I stop the rest of the world? I have no idea. Asking Jesus that in the Adoration Chapel, he brought his mother into the room and she said, use what you know. And use what I know became my CD set and my book, Abortion is a Satanic Sacrifice. But going back a little bit, in 2003, I was diagnosed with being diabetic. And in theory, knew what that meant, but I didn't really. And I didn't monitor really what I ate. I still ate everything that I always did. And I was told multiple times that if I didn't control my diet, that I could go blind. But I know a lot of people that are diabetic and none of them went blind. So I played the odds. And I either won or lost, depending on how you look at that. And at some point around 2012, my retinas detached. And then I had surgery to reattach them. But think of like a piece of notebook paper that, when it's brand new, it's flat. When it becomes detached, it wrinkles up. You have to like ball it up. And once it's been balled up and ready to be thrown in the wastebasket, open it back up and try and flatten it to what it originally was. You can't. It'll never be like that again. And that's what happens when they try and reattach your retinas. But what actually happened the day before my retinas detached, somebody had emailed our ministry and they said that they thought that I was arrogant. They thought I was a braggart. And I don't feel that that's me. But from what they said, I prayed to God that night. I said, I don't want to be arrogant. Could you make me humble? But then I followed that statement up with, but could you not do it in the way you do everything else? Because I know when people pray for patience, they are really tested. Like they either become patient or they lose their minds. And I didn't want something like that to happen. I just, can't you make me humble in a nice way? And the very next day, my retinas detached. Now, if you think being blind is not humbling, sometimes I travel the world. And sometimes when I travel, I don't have an assistant that's the same sex. I travel with the opposite sex. And sometimes when you go to a bathroom at a rest stop, they don't have a unisex bathroom. And they don't feel comfortable taking me in the women's bathroom. And I have to wait for a man to come along that I can ask if he can help me go to the bathroom. When you have to ask a perfect stranger to go to the bathroom, and you're putting your faith in God that this guy is not going to rob you or do worse, that I'm actually going to be alive when I come out of the bathroom. That's a humbling experience. So it has definitely made me humble. A lot more I thought I was humble before, but apparently I was not. So going blind was, I was diabetic and then blind, and then a few years later I was told that my kidneys were going to start shutting down. But I thought, they said there's a chance that they won't. So I held out that maybe they wouldn't. While I was experiencing that, I got a sore on the bottom of my left foot near the far left side. And that infection eventually went to the bone. So they had to take the bone that's in this side of my foot and they had to take it out. And it was the bone right under the small toe. So they said that if they just took the bone, the small toe would flop around and get caught on stuff and break, and I'd have a lot of horror stories with that. So they took the small toe as well. So that was the first thing to get amputated. And then last year, I went to the podiatrist and he found a callus on the bottom of my foot. And he cut the callus off and discovered a hole that almost went to the bone. So he started trying to clean that out. And I would go in there 2 or 3 times a week for that. Eventually, I ended up with an infection. I had sepsis and I had to go to the emergency room. And I got a surgeon there that performed, he just cleaned it out. And then we were working on it for a long time. And eventually I was supposed to have surgery on it again. And I went into the hospital because I was feeling weak and I fell twice in one day. And it's because I had sepsis again. And when he looked at my foot the day before I was supposed to have my surgery, he said, uh-oh, And I said, "Uh-oh doesn't sound good. What does uh-oh mean?" And he said that I have gangrene and he's got to take the foot. This did not make me happy. This, to me, this was the most disappointing day of my life. It was more disappointing hearing about it than when it actually happened. By the time it happened, I had resigned myself that I was losing my foot. But when he initially said it, I was like, I don't like that story. Can you change it? And no, he can't. He's got to take the foot, and he was showing me where he was going to take it. I like my foot. I've had it my entire life. I didn't want to lose it. And then I lost it, and I don't remember what the court decision was, but there apparently was some major court decision regarding abortion the day I lost my foot. And a friend, Karen actually, told me that she thought that I was losing things as like a sacrifice for the unborn. I started off sacrificing the unborn, and now I have become the sacrifice for the unborn. And if losing my foot means that abortion ends, I'm all for it. If I got to lose something else to totally shut down the abortion industry, then that's what I got to do. I don't want to do that, but I am willing to be the sacrifice that God needs to shut down the abortion industry. God bless you all, and thank you for watching this video.
So you hear Zach's story, and to recap, he had in 2003 diabetes, resulting later on in legal blindness. Then he had renal failure, which he goes to dialysis 3 times a week. And he had sepsis twice, which is life threatening. He had two-step amputation. And what he failed to mention, I think he forgot, was his stroke, which was also life threatening. They thought he was going to die. So now, all of these things that he has experienced uh, was completely the opposite of what he had when he was a high wizard, when he was offering sacrifices, the sacrifices of babies. He had strength, he had money, he had power then, and he had ability to do so many things. Now his abilities were completely taken away from him, and he's weaker now, and he has all these ailments. But what is the most incredible thing, and what is the most miraculous thing, is seeing the metanoia, the change of mindset, that now he is willing to offer this all up for the lives of these babies. And it's a dying to self. And as you heard him earlier, he said, I know I could change myself. How could I change the others? This is how we do it. We do it by self-dying. And whenever we have any kind of sacrifice or anything at all, we offer it to God. It's so worth something. And this is something that a spiritual person could grasp. But of course, to those who are not spiritual, they think it's foolish. But St. Faustina said that if there's two things that the angels are, if they can be jealous or envious of us, it's to have the Eucharist, and the other one is to suffer, because we don't understand the value of suffering, and when we do, we won't have it anymore. So it is a beautiful story of a transformation of the mind and conversion, the heart, the spirit of Zach, and I hope we could follow this example. Thank you so much. God bless you. And let's keep on trudging forward to save souls, the babies, souls of those people who are killing babies, and have them also have that change of heart. Like the Blessed Mother did to Zach and to so many one of us. She could do so much. We just have to like contribute. We have to keep on doing what she asks us to do and pray together. And Jesus' favorite hour is 3 o'clock. And remember, he says, won't you spend 1 hour with me? It's a sacrifice. Let's do it. It's worth it. God bless you all. Love you all. If any of you need one-on-one prayer, call 888-78-JESUS, 888-785-3787, noon to midnight, Monday through Friday.